Stop scrolling for just 1 second and hear me out. I'm telling you, if you do, your eyes may open to something that you've been blind to for some time now. I'm going to lay out some facts for you, and I'm going to let you be the judge of what I'm trying to tell you. Watch this. Okay, first I want to point out something that I've made clear many times before. This is a statue of Nebuchadnezzar. This is a statue of Donald J. Trump, which he posted a while back about his future plans for Gaza in a sketchy way. Gematria, the number for Trump and Nebuchadnezzar, Donald J. Trump and Nebuchadnezzar, is 888, with Trump also being 88 and alone by itself, which is when the prophecy talks about the eighth king, the short horn, carrying and exercising all the same power as the first beast, and also being the beast with the recovered head wound at the end of the world. But I want to show you some other things that these people have in common. And because he's compared to Nebuchadnezzar the Great, I want to show you that he's also compared to Cyrus the Great. And they're calling him Cyrus the Great, brought back to life. But don't you know that Cyrus the Great was also called the king of Babylon? But let's look back even further than old Cyrus. Because right now, if you go to the White House.gov website, you'll see that this pops up immediately where it says, "Welcome to the Golden Age." I want you to keep this in mind as I go down this rabbit trails of the greats of our history and the antichrists of our own Bible. Watch this. You see, Nimrod also had a golden age, and I want you to do a little checklist with me. It says that during his golden age, he had a period of absolute power, a period of time of absolute power and unification, meaning bringing everybody together as one, a peacefulness, in Mesopotamia, where he reigned as a mighty hunter. The beginning of the video, the first clip I showed you, is Donald Trump proclaiming to now be a hunter who was the hunted. It says that he was a mighty hunter and a builder of cities like Babylon, where he rebuilds cities like Donald J. Trump and his towers all over the world, and also him wanting to rebuild Gaza and all these other places. See, but then he turned on the people at the end, as the Bible talks about. But let's keep going forward. Because remember, the 888 Nebuchadnezzar, Donald J. Trump, 888 also. Well, I want to point this out. Nebuchadnezzar also had a golden age of Babylon. Pay attention to what he did. It was also the most powerful, populous, and a magnificent, great city. He expanded the empire, like we're expanding right now, into Venezuela, Russia, and also Greenland, and also looks like Iran too. And he expanded the empire through what? Military campaigns and rebuilt cities and grand architecture. So, Nimrod was obsessed with building great walls around his kingdom, which at first he told was to keep the people safe, but then it turned into a prison for the people, as we read about in the book of Jasher and other things a while back. But I also want to point out that Nebuchadnezzar was also obsessed with building massive walls around his magnificent city also, his most powerful military, etc. But let's keep going from here. So the United States is home of the One World Trade Center also, right? Well, guess what? Babylon, during Nebuchadnezzar's time, Babylon became a center of trade, culture, and intellectual advancements, like we're the most advanced, according to Trump also, supported by significant irrigation and urban projects. But let's keep going forward. Because you remember Nero of Rome, the one that destroyed Jerusalem in 66 AD? Well, he also had a golden age from 54 to 59, in which at first, pay attention, it was marked by relative stability, a peacefulness, a time of calming, popular reforms, reducing people's taxes, and a shift of power to the Senate. And at first, he was considered initially generous and accessible, reducing taxes and ending closed-door trials. At first, he also came in sweet and nice to win the people over. Sound familiar? By saying things they want to hear. Talks of flatteries. But let's move on even forward, because I hope you're seeing a pattern here. Well, now let's talk about Constantine and his golden age. Well, remember, Constantine changed the Sabbath to Sunday on the 66th day of the year, March 7th, which is tomorrow, by the way, of 321 AD. 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6, 666. Constantine changes the Sabbath to Sunday and initiates the mark of authority of Rome. This is right there in his creed, of the venerable day of the sun, in which he continued sun worship. All right. Well, he also had a golden age, and he also came in by reuniting the split empire, talks of peace, bringing unity together. and founding Constantinople as a new Christian capital. Sound familiar about Israel and Palestine situation? And there's your number, 33 CE. Sounds pretty familiar to me, right? Well, do you remember the video I posted the other day of Bibi Netanyahu literally saying that the United States is not just New Jerusalem, but also New Rome? Word for word, right out of his mouth. Well, that was also still going on during this time of Constantine via Constantinople, right here in front of you. Okay? So, remember Constantine? Well, he changed the Sabbath to Sunday on the 66th day of the year, March 7th, which is tomorrow, of 321 AD. 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6, 666, right? Well, he changed the Sabbath to Sunday then, and he did everything else that Donald J. Trump is doing right now, / Nebuchadnezzar also did, and Nero did, and Nimrod did, and et cetera, et cetera. Well, let's see what else is happening right now on our checklist. January 23rd, 2026, a uniform day of rest, will resting on Sunday save the nation, by Greg. Let's see what he's talking about. Well, he's talking about the Heritage Foundation and their push now to have a blue law back established worldwide. Okay, this is a whole lot different than state by state, in which they're going to acknowledge Sunday as the official day of rest, a uniform Sunday. And here we are. If you read up here, they're trying to do it before the nation's 250th anniversary, which, by the way, is July 4th, 2026. So meaning coming up very soon, like I was trying to warn you guys about. Okay, they're trying to push the restoration of the blue laws and a uniform day of rest on Sunday. So, if you can't tell what's happening right now, after all the extensive information that's been presented in the past couple of weeks, months, and years via live streams and posts, and by everything else that you've discovered yourself, then you're either not trying to see or you're not trying to hear. And that, my friends, is your fault.